guarantee to students, to local students, but especially international students such as yourself. We will notice how well Cattolica is connected to the food system as well, to the viticulture world, to the enology world as well. And well, last but certainly not in terms of relevance or in terms of importance, the Made in Italy sector. And well, I could have used any other logo in terms of Made in Italy excellent. It could have been, I don't know, a fashion icon. It could have been any other sort of brand apart from Ferrari. Even though we are not going to teach you how to become, let's say, designers or automotive engineers, we're going to teach you how to become excellent managers into dealing with these sort of brands, with these sort of high-end brands. But then again, you also need, let's say, some insights from the country, like, okay, the healthcare system, the food system, wine, enology, the beautiful landscape, the high luxury brands and everything of that sort. Consider Italy as a study destination. Well, we're talking about, let's say, not the most populated country when it comes to international students. So it's not a saturated, let's say, destination. Still plenty of places available for international students. In terms of location, well, which other country would have more strategic locations than Italy? Which other countries would have more rich territories to expand your knowledge, to expand your expertise than Italy? When compared to other destinations, well, you will later find out that Italy is way more affordable, even if you were to pick a private university such as Università Cattolica. And then, in terms of knowledge, skills, and especially soft skills, you're going to be learning a set of soft skills in Italy that probably you would not learn anywhere else. Italian universities, it's part of the Italian culture, actually. And I've learned this myself, being non-Italian myself. I've gone through this learning process myself during these past few years that I've been studying and living and also working in Italy. You learn how to actually be independent, how to be proactive, how to find solution, let's say, in any sort of situation. And then when related to the actual academic career, you'll find a lot of flexibility when it comes to exam dates. You'll find the opportunity to attend oral exams as well. And last but not least, being yet a non-saturated destination, the job market is actually quite growing during the past few years. But obviously, as I would say in any given scenario, there are pros and cons. So you'll have some advantages, but obviously you're going to face some not really disadvantages, but you might find some tiny issues every now and then. Sometimes the administrative procedures tend to be quite lengthy, a bit tiring, and sometimes also boring. Sometimes rankings related to Italian universities are not 100% clear, but we're going to go dive deep into that as well in today's presentation. And in some Italian cities, there are still some language barriers. So take this as a piece of personal advice from a non-Italian, from a former international student such as myself, to also consider studying a bit of Italian if you are considering to move to Italy. But obviously, we had the advantages, the disadvantages, the pros and the cons. But obviously, all of us, not necessarily only students, even professionals at times, have a lot of doubts, have a lot of pre-constructed myths, of pre-constructed concepts about a future study destination, about a completely foreign country like Italy or any other country, as a matter of fact. Well, I said that yes, I would definitely suggest studying some Italian to make, let's say, the experience more enjoyable, to also give yourself, grant yourself more future opportunities career-wise. However, Italian itself is not a requirement if you are willing to study in English. Università Cattolica offers 50 plus English taught programs, 100% taught in English, no Italian required whatsoever to get an admission offer, and no Italian required whatsoever to comfortably attend lessons. And as we said, compare Italy yourself. You could use any search engine you wish. Compare Italy as a study destination with, I don't know, the United Kingdom, the United States, or Australia. You will find out that, of course, the academic excellence is there, but you'll definitely find out that Italy is way more affordable because education, even higher education in Italy, is considered to be, let's say, a right rather than a privilege reserved to few families. And definitely, location does make a difference. But before jumping into where Università Cattolica is located, I'm going to share a brief overview of the Italian higher education system and also some exciting news regarding Università Cattolica's future. Well, most of you today, since we would be rather talking about the two-year Masters of Science, would find themselves either attending the final year of your bachelor program, let's say, or willing to complete the bachelor studies and then move on to a higher step, the graduate step. But generally speaking, let's start from the beginning. You would need a minimum of 12 years of pre-university education, first of all, to start a bachelor degree in Italy, in Università Cattolica, obviously, as well. Then, once you complete the bachelor degree, you could move on to either a two-year Master of Science, a one-year specializing master, and if you would be picking the two-year Master of Science, you could then move on to the final step, let's say, and let's say unlock the higher education game with a PhD. Some countries, such as the Russian Federation, as a matter of fact, have an 11-year pre-university system. So most of the times, Russian students, but also students coming from other countries as well, would need to go through a foundation program to, let's say, make up for that final 12th year. Well, up until very recently, Università Cattolica had no foundation year, was never involved even into thinking about a foundation year. But considering, obviously, first of all, the huge amount of interest that we have from Russia, the amazing work that Studiare in Italia has been doing through these few years, we definitely felt the need to also accommodate this sort of request, this sort of interest from Russian students specifically. And well, I'm pleased to announce, let's say and I think it's the very first time that we do announce it. Olga, please correct me if I'm wrong, that
Absolutely.
that foundation year will be coming in Cattolica as well very soon. Obviously, I do not have that much of information to share as much as I would have wanted to. I do not have any further content, but yeah, the news is out there. So Università Cattolica will be also offering a foundation year very, very soon. And there is another very important distinction that you need to make. Well, apart from the pre-university years of education, 12 for the bachelor, 15 for the master, you also need to understand this other very important distinction. And this is rather related to what you are willing to study. Let's say I've studied economics my whole life. I've been studying economics for I don't know how many years now. And I've also studied economics in Italy. And prior to moving to Italy, I had to make this choice. I would rather go to the university sector or the AFAM sector. And this is quite important and quite relevant. So you have the university sector, where you will find public universities, private universities such as Università Cattolica, and even online universities. Well, within this area, within this sector, you will find I would like to call them traditional study programs, even that might not sound quite correct, but you have economics, marketing, law, political science, humanities, medicine within this sector. The second sector, which is equally important, even though Cattolica is not part of it, is the AFAM sector. Well, basically, here you will be finding design schools, dance academies, music conservatories. You will basically find academies of fine arts in general. As we said, Università Cattolica is the largest non-state university in Europe. Cattolica was founded more than 100 years ago, which is pretty impressive if you consider the fact that we are a non-state university. We are located in 6 different cities with 5 campuses across the country. We have, as we speak, 12 faculties with an overall number of enrolled students, which is around 40,000. But in order for you to understand how big, important, and relevant the international community at Università Cattolica is, consider the fact that more than 10% of this student body of ours is made of international students. We do work with almost 600 partner universities, and in terms of actual programs, we offer something like 250 or even more than 250 study programs, as a matter of fact, divided between the undergraduate and the graduate level as well. However, there are different categories of numbers, like you have numbers of programs, number of students, number of international students, which are helpful, obviously, into, assisting you to make a more informed decision. But then there are some more important statistics and data that you need to keep in mind. Those related to rankings. As we said, okay, the largest non-state university in Europe, which, okay, shows the dimension, the size of the university, but you also need to understand the academic quality of Università Cattolica. We are number 440 when it comes to the overall rankings according to QS. We are among the top 350 when it comes to the rankings of the Times Higher Education. And as we speak, we have 17 subject areas among the top 350 subject areas according to QS. Università Cattolica is among the top 200 universities worldwide when it comes to medicine. We are among the top 150 when it comes to psychology and agriculture. We are among the top 150 when it comes to modern languages and communication and media studies. But obviously, all universities do excel in something. There are a lot of universities out there that have some amazing rankings. Some universities could have a top-notch department in economics, let's say, or in banking, in finance, in any other subject area, as a matter of fact. However, there is a specific ranking into we do take great pride. There is a specific ranking which, according to us, according to myself as well, is slightly more important and is the ranking which is related to the return on your investment, on your family's investment. I mean, it's pretty clear that you're going to spend some time, you're going to spend a lot of effort, you're going to spend some money in Italy. You're going to stay here for, I don't know, it could be a year, it could be 2 years, even more than 2 years. Like medicine students would stay here for a minimum of 6 years. So definitely you, your families, would expect something in return. Università Cattolica is among the top 5 Italian universities when it comes to employer reputation. As we speak, 18,000 students of ours are attending an internship. We have basically something like 25,000 companies registered in our database. We do publish almost 13,000 internship and job offers each year. And last but certainly not least, we do also organize traditional career days in all of our campuses when our students, both local but mostly internationals, can engage with our partners directly. Having said that, we've talked about numbers, the Italian education system, we talked about statistics, data, rankings, employability. So I think it's time we can actually dive into the university itself. Let's start with where Università Cattolica is located. So, I'm a bit biased here if I were to talk about campuses because I've studied in Milan. I work actually within the Milan campus, like my background right here. So I'm definitely going to start with Milan. And then we can move on to Brescia, Piacenza, Cremona, and Rome, and certainly Bolzano as well, which is our brand new location where we started to teach medicine last year. These places are not picked out randomly. Università Cattolica tends to have a very strong connection with the territory, let's say, with the location. Like the campus is in Milan is not picked out of the blue. Like let's have a campus and let's pick Milan out of the cities. Like Milan is the economical and financial capital of Italy. So it makes sense for Università Cattolica to offer everything related to economics, management, finance, marketing, or business as a whole in Milan. And as a matter of fact, both Anna and myself have studied or are studying something related to management in Milan. The very same logic would be applicable to Piacenza and Cremona. These two cities are located into the Italian food valley, so it makes sense for us to offer everything related to food. It could be food production, food processing, it could be agriculture and food economics, it could also be sustainable viticulture and enology, as a matter of fact. Rome, well, we have a hospital in Rome. We do teach medicine there. It makes sense to teach medicine in a place where you have your very own hospital. In Brescia, being one of the most industrialized cities, not only in Italy, but in Europe, we do offer some STEM programs. And last, but again, not in terms of relevance, we do work with a medical facility in Bolzano. So again, it makes sense for Università Cattolica to offer medicine and surgery in Bolzano as well. But here today, we're gonna focus on, well, the graduate programs, first of all, but more specifically on the two-year graduate programs, the Masters of Science or the Laurea Magistrale in Italian. Well, first of all, let's make a distinction between the two-year and the one-year program because we offer them both, and we do offer like 40 graduate programs, frankly speaking. Well, first of all, I'm going to start with saying that there are no rights and wrongs here. Like, you do not have to pick a two-year Master of Science as you do not have to pick a one-year specializing master. Well, I've attended them both, to be honest. The two-year program is a rather academic focused program. Is offers, let's say, advanced trainings in specialized areas. It also gives you access to a PhD. We're talking about a degree right here, which will grant you 120 credits. We do offer two-year Masters of Science, I would have to say, in most subject areas. We also offer the one-year master, on the other hand, which is, I would have to say, rather practical when compared to the two-year program. But keep one very important detail in mind. This program right here does not give you access to a PhD. So if you might be thinking for a PhD, if that is your objective, consider the fact that you absolutely need a two-year Master of Science to be eligible for admission. In terms of what we actually offer, well, honestly, it would be way easier for me to state what we do not offer than going through all of our programs. And well, apart from engineering, architecture, and design, Cattolica pretty much offers everything else. So we can start, well, in an alphabetical order, not in terms of importance of subject area. Let's start with our agribusiness subject area in Piacenza and Cremona, obviously. Well, we do offer 4 Masters of Science, and we do also offer 1 specializing master when it comes to this area. Let's move then on to banking and finance. As you might see, the offer here is quite rich. We do offer 6 Masters of Science and 2 specializing masters. We do offer 3 specializing masters when it comes to marketing and communication. We do have 1 Master of Science when it comes to the medicine subject area. We have 4 Masters of Science and 1 specializing master when it comes to humanities. I'm going to leave business and management aside for a moment because I mean, you can clearly see how many programs we do offer within that area right here. We have 4 masters in political science, 1 Master of Science within the STEM subject area, And now let's get back to business and management again. Well, I would have to say this is our most, I don't know, generous offer in terms of number of programs. We have 5 Masters of Science, and then we do also have 6 specializing masters related to business and management. Obviously, we went through the programs very briefly because if you would want to explore these programs more, and this is, let's say, a suggestion that I always give to international students, especially, is to read the curriculums of the programs very carefully. Or, obviously, to pick up your phone and call Studiare in Italia. So they're going to explain all the differences between the curriculums. Because I perfectly get it. You would find yourself in front of a specific subject area that offers like 25 programs with very slight differences. But these slight differences could be quite important if you consider even your future career perspectives. So there could be a lot of differences between studying management or methods and topics in arts management. A lot of differences if you, I don't know, rather pick strategic management for global business or international business. And being, of course, an Italian university after all, we do offer more than 200 graduate programs entirely taught in Italian. Unfortunately, there does not exist any PowerPoint big enough to fit all of these programs, but as per usual, you could go ahead and navigate through our international website, or again, call or send an email directly to our dear partners of Studiare in Italia. Not all students, and I could quite agree, with this statement right here. Not all students are ready, let's say, to embark for a full journey. Not all students are ready to, let's say, experience Italy to the fullest or go and live abroad for 1 year, 2 year, or even more. And it makes perfect sense, and I find it to be perfectly normal. Like some students would rather test the waters beforehand, would like to experience beforehand, and would like to, let's say, make a more informed decision. And that's why Università Cattolica also offers short-term programs for incoming international students. Like, let's say you're already enrolled in a university in your home country, and you would want to experience how studying abroad is, so then you could make a decision once you're back home. Well, you could experience this at Università Cattolica. You could come here for an exchange program. You could have a look at how Università Cattolica operates, what Università Cattolica puts in place for international students. So once you go back home, you are way more informed and you can make your decision to make the full journey during your next step. And once you're here for good, so you came here, you attended the exchange program, you went back home, you picked the perfect program. Any program would be the perfect program, I suppose, as long as that program is the right fit for yourself. Do not consider Università Cattolica to be your final destination. Like once you're here, do not consider it to be your final stop. Consider it as an amazing opportunity to travel the world, actually, to also experience other universities or other realities, other completely different environments from Università Cattolica. We have something like almost 700 international connections with almost 3,000 student of ours going abroad each year. And again, it could be a 3-month exchange, a 6-month, a full year, a full semester, a foreign language abroad, an internship abroad. You could go ahead and do, let's say, even your final thesis in a partner university of ours. Or, and I find this to be an exceptional opportunity, you could opt for a double degree option. The name pretty much gives it away. Basically, you would be attending a 2-year program, but you would be obtaining 2 degrees instead of one. You would be sparing quite some effort, a lot of time, and obviously quite some money. you would be starting, let's say, at Università Cattolica with, let's say, our Master of Science in Banking and Finance. You'd be completing the first year at Università Cattolica, and then you could go ahead and attend the second year of the program at a partner university of ours. You could start studying management at Università Cattolica and then attend your second year at the University of Western Australia, for example. Same logic would be applicable to our global business management program. You would start here, but then you could move to Dublin, for example. You would be obtaining our degree and our partner university's degree as well. Apart from all of this super interesting content of the location, the program, the studying abroad, the effort, the energy, and everything that you would be spending here, let's also talk about the investment that you or your family will have to make once you are at Università Cattolica. When it comes to students living in a non-European country, no matter which citizenship you would have, we have a full tuition fee of 9,000 euros per year when it comes to the 2-year Masters of Science. And we also do put in place the Università Cattolica International Scholarship, which is basically a merit-based scholarship that you could apply while applying for the program, which, if granted, would give you a discount of around 30%. On the other hand, we also have the 1-year specializing masters. Well, tuition fees here are slightly different as they could range from 7 up to 14,000 based on the program that you would pick. And again, when it comes to 1-year masters, we do put in place some partial merit-based scholarships that could generally cover from 25 up to 40 something percent of that tuition fee. Since we went through the English taught programs, but most of these requirements right here would be applicable to the Italian taught programs as well. Let's start with the linguistic requirement. We do require our students to have a minimum B2 in English if they're going to study in English, or if in Italian, if they're going to study in Italian. And please keep this in mind. If you are going to remember anything from this presentation, please remember this one. If you are opting for a 2-year Master of Science, please make sure that you are applying for a program which is similar to the program that you have already attended or to the bachelor program that you are currently attending. Just for the sake of making an example, a psychology student or a student with a bachelor degree in psychology, with all due respect towards the student and the subject area, will probably never be admitted into a Master of Science in Banking and Finance, or vice versa, as a matter of fact. Your academic background should be relevant and should be similar to the program that you are willing to apply to. Applications will open by mid-December for our graduate programs, with the final deadlines being by May, mid-May, specifically for non-European students. Keep this in mind, as this is related to your citizenship, not to the place where you reside. And when it comes to the 1-year masters, applications will close slightly later. But obviously, you're not going to have to memorize all these dates and all these numbers and all this information. You have the website, you have Studiare in Italia. We are here to help you. We are here to assist you with everything. And before jumping to Anna's part, I'm also going to leave this slide right here for a few minutes. So if you wish to take our contacts, please go ahead and do so. Well, thank you so much, I guess, for bearing with me through this last 30 minutes.
Thank you so much, Ador. Very informative.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Olga.
So shall we invite Anna? Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. We're going to leave the floor to Anna right away, I suppose.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Anna, and I'm here as a master degree student in Cattolica. As was previously mentioned, I study in Milan and I study arts management. More precisely, I'm in Methods in Topics in Arts Management program, and it's my second year, so it's my final year of master degree. For you to understand better me and my background, my bachelor degree is international economics, and I studied in Moscow at Higher School of Economics. And now I moved to Italy, and it's my second year here. I really enjoy it so far, and I think that it was one of the most wonderful decisions that I made. So I don't know, how do you want to structure it? Do you have any specific questions for me to address, or?
Well, I mean, I would rather have a chat, rather than having this sort of interview setting. Like, I don't know, just maybe the first few steps, like how did you find out about Cattolica 2 years ago? Just what did you like more during this first year? Even any challenges that you've had during this first year would be
Okay.
quite interesting, I think, for students to hear.
Okay, how did I find out about Cattolica? I think that I was looking at the rankings for sure, and I applied only to universities in Italy because it was my focus, and I applied only to the universities in the north of Italy, as you, I think, know that it's more economically developed area, and I thought that will be the right fit. So yes, I was checking rankings. I was looking for arts management programs specifically because I did my final thesis in my bachelor degree on the art market. And as you said before, that it's really important that your bachelor and your master is comparable. For me, it was not 100% the same because it was a little bit different, but for me, it was important to show sufficient interest in the subjects. That's why I showed that I did a thesis, I had some side projects and extracurricular activities connected to my interest in the arts. So it was enough for me to get admitted. So yes. That was my focus, to find something suitable for me. Plus, Cattolica has a lot of programs in English, and I was studying German in my bachelor degree, so I needed to study in English, and then I started learning Italian before moving here. Yes, and of course, I checked the curriculum on the website. As you mentioned before, it's really, really important. And I heard stories how people are surprised by some subjects because they haven't checked precisely that they're going to study, I don't know, physics maybe in management program or something like this. And they get surprised because why do I need physics? But it's like the curriculum of the program and the focus of the program. So yes, one of my tips is to check the curriculum carefully, whether you're 100% satisfied with it. So yes, that's how I found Cattolica. That's how I found the program, and I really like the curriculum, so I just applied. Yes. Some Okay.
Yeah, in terms of, you've completed one year now, so you're quite
Yeah.
close to your graduation. Like, if there must be something that, let's say, you have enjoyed quite a lot, but there also must be something that you have found to be, let's say, challenging during this year.
Um, what I enjoyed the most is being in an international environment. I think that we have the majority of students are Italians, but we have like students from China, from Chile, from I think some exchange students, and it's interesting to observe how other people approach different problems when we do, like, for example, group projects. It's like you understand that people are different, and some things you like, some things you have to adjust to. But I think it's something you learn from. And also we did some lessons where we attended companies, like a company visit, and I really enjoyed that part. And recently, we also attended La Scala, which was amazing experience to see this behind the scenes picture and to ask questions how it operates and so on. So I like that we have such opportunity, and it's really, really amazing. Of course, traveling. You've mentioned traveling, and the here you feel like you're really exposed to different nationalities, to different events, to I've traveled a lot during this year, and it was a great pleasure. And especially like the price for airplane tickets, like super, super, super low. And for example, we've managed, for example, to go to Venice Biennale, which is still in
Wow.
Italy, but like yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. It was the last days of Biennale, so yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically what I've enjoyed the most, I guess.
All right, all right. But you must have had some challenges, I suppose. Like, I don't know, adapting during the first few months, perhaps, the program itself.
Of course, challenges. When you go abroad for studying, you have to understand that at first you need to spend some time to get used to living in another place, especially like even building your regular routines. Where do you go to supermarket? How do you go to the metro station? How do you go to the university? Where do you buy transport tickets? And all this kind of stuff. It takes some of your mental capacity, and you have to study plus do in parallel this kind of stuff. But um, I think it's like the first maybe 2 months like this. And then you're just now, for example, I'm feeling much more relaxed like the second year. For example, yesterday I went to renew my live permit. It was super easy compared to the last year when I was like not understanding anything.
I know
What's
the
going
feeling.
on?
I know the feeling.
Yes. Yes, so yeah, it's just like the something you have to go through, and it's not unmanageable. It's just something you have to consider. Like there will be some challenges like this, and so yeah, just give yourself some time to adjust, and then it will be okay. In terms of the subjects, I don't know. It's like all manageable because I had a lot of experience with economics and business side. I had work experience before, so it wasn't something I wasn't expecting, like something completely unmanageable, or exams that you have to prepare, I don't know, for 3 months and you have to retake it and retake it. No, there was no such thing. But it depends on, I think, your personal experience. And for me, my program is not that difficult because I have like sufficient background in management and economics. For other students, maybe in my course, it's much more challenging because they studied something like history of arts. And of course, for them with the background in history of arts, to do some managerial things and to do statistics is much more difficult.
Can be quite challenging. Yeah, I can fully agree with both your points actually. You know, as we were talking earlier, you need to be proactive. That's something that you learn once you're in Italy, especially being a an international student. Sorry, like you're here, you need to adapt. You need to find a way to make it work. Like obviously, you know, the university, a lot of people are here to help, clearly, but it's a cultural thing. It's not like we're gonna spoon feed you all the information and all the assistance. And I think it's a great life exercise. And I can fully agree with you, Anna. And well, being both of us international students, like you are currently an international student, I graduated like not that many years ago. I would kindly ask you, like, one tip, let's say, for future Russian students, like what would you feel to share with them? It does not have to be a tip
Okay.
or instruction, like, I don't know, like your closing remarks.
Okay. Okay. It's a big tip. First, I will start with try to learn a little bit of Italian. You will do without Italian, but with Italian, it's completely different thing. Like you will feel much more freedom, and your quality of life will be better if you speak with people. And we have really nice people. For example, we go to the coffee shop like every morning, and people know us, and we can chat with them. It's kind of different experience, and connected with this also a little bit. Make effort to make new friends and not only Russians, because I see a lot of people who surround themselves with Russian community and live with it for like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years without like you're here to absorb the culture, international culture, Italian culture, and try to make new friends, new connections, maybe something people from completely different countries. It's a great opportunity to form these connections, and that's like my tip to your future studies.
Well, I can fully agree, obviously. There are a lot of students, but I think, they feel more comfortable when they are with each other, or maybe students or friends that they used to know since back home. But yeah, you're here to not only academically learn or attend the program. You're actually here to also enjoy the experience. You're also here to gain this and absorb, as Anna said, all these soft skills, all these cultural differences, and everything also super valuable outside of the classroom. Well, thank you so much, Anna, for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
from my side on behalf of Cattolica as well. And I think we can move on with questions, Olga, if we have
Yeah,
any.
absolutely. Yeah, thanks a lot, Anna, for interesting information. If you can stay with us a little bit more, I will start read questions in the chat. Some questions are directly to you and your experience. Some questions I will ask Ador, and some questions I will share, maybe even in Russian for those who ask in Russian, and maybe for some part of our audience it will be more comfortable. So let's start from the beginning. And today we have several questions actually is about the Cattolica's name. So why
Sure.
it is. So I know that some students, they really are a bit suspicious. I mean, probably no, not all of them are Christians, and,
Oh,
uh, and,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
many students, they feel a bit strange that if they are obliged to do some religious things and so on. I think we must discuss this
Absolutely.
week probably.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, it makes perfect sense. Well, clearly we're talking about a Catholic university. I mean, the founder of the university was a Catholic father more than 100 years ago. However, keep in mind that Università Cattolica welcomes everyone from anywhere, no matter which ethnicity, religious background, cultural background, any sort of belief that you might have. We have students from 160 countries. So we have students from basically everywhere. I'm not Catholic myself. I've studied here, I work here, I've been part of the Cattolica's world for almost 7 years now. The university is clearly of a Catholic background. So keep in mind one thing, even if you go through the curriculums of the programs, you would find some theology seminars within the curriculums, which are not actually religious subjects, like you're not going to go there and study the Bible, but are there to offer the reasoned critical thinking of the Christian message. These subjects are non-credit bearing, first of all, so they will not affect your final scores, and attendance is not mandatory. But keep in mind that yes, you do have these subjects within the curriculum of most of our programs, but on the other hand, do not forget the part where we receive students from basically everywhere, from all sorts of backgrounds. So everyone is welcome.
Thank you very much, Arthur. If you don't mind, I will just translate this message in
Sure.
Russian as well. Да, я хотела бы ответить многим студентам, которые часто об этом спрашивают. Безусловно, название университета подчеркивает корни университета. И, конечно, оно было основано при участии католической церкви. И на сегодняшний момент в состав владельцев университета входит церковь. Но это скорее дань традиции. Безусловно, в университете сегодня это абсолютно светское учебное заведение, в которое принимаются студенты из разных стран мира с разным вероисповеданием. Да, в учебном плане вы можете увидеть некоторый небольшой семинар о христианской вере, о христианской традиции, но скорее это, во-первых, этот семинар не подразумевает никакие тесты и экзамены, во-вторых, это скорее сделано для того, чтобы студенты разделяли такие общие гуманитарные, гуманные христианские ценности и были в одной атмосфере. Поэтому университет принимает студентов абсолютно из разных стран, разных вероисповеданий, и скорее это такая историческая справка. Но я все-таки спрошу Анны, может быть, она тоже подтвердит, что у нее нет никаких там, не знаю, излишних обязательств или осложнений по этому вопросу.
Я думаю, что для каждого был немножко другой, разный курс теологии, но для нас это был... Мы смотрели фильмы и обсуждали, скорее, вот как раз это был critical thinking, когда мы какие-то обсуждали экзистенциальные вопросы и дискутировали. То есть это был ну, с отсылками, может быть, но нам все разного вероисповедания, все разного бэкграунда, и как бы к этому всему абсолютно нормально, как бы прекрасно относятся. У нас был замечательный профессор, который был один из самых, мне кажется, очаровательных за весь год.
Спасибо большое, Анна. Next question is about the bachelor degree in food system. I think we can say that you have a program in this area and that we will have a separate presentation, yeah? You don't have a sound. Switch.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. Well, as you already know, both Olga and Diana, we do have a bachelor degree in food production management. It's a 3-year program, entirely taught in English, obviously, at our campus in Piacenza. If I may, as I think it's quite interesting and it's quite of an innovative program, will share the curriculum of the program, if I may, in the chat with students. And I do kindly invite you to absolutely have a look at the program and specifically focus on the classes that you would be attending starting from the second year, because that's what makes it very special and quite peculiar, because you'd have, like, I would call it profile, but you'd have some dedicated subjects to viticulture and enology, some dedicated subjects to vegetables, to bread, to pasta, to processing and everything. But yes,
Thank
we
you
do
so
offer
much.
it.
We have a question in Russian, so I will ask Anna to answer in Russian as well. It's interesting for everyone. Once again, why you have chosen Cattolica and not another university? Have you received the scholarship? And can you give us some comments on this? Анна, расскажете?
Да, конечно. Я подавала, да, в университеты, которые были на севере Италии, когда этого сказала. Я подавала в Турин, в Милан, в Болонью. Я подавала в Тренто и в Павию, по-моему, вроде бы все. Но у меня были, получается, программы более safe, более безопасные варианты, которые были больше про экономику, про international business и так далее. И было 2 программы, которые, соответственно, были про арт-менеджмент. И моим приоритетом было пойти именно на программы по арт-менеджменту и пойти на программы желательно в Милане, потому что у меня был опыт, у меня были знакомые друзья, которые многие учились в других городах и потом переезжали, допустим, в Милан на стажировки, на работу. Я думала о том, что Милан изначально для меня приоритет. И поэтому как бы Католика из-за того, что там был арт-менеджмент, и из-за того, что это был Милан, и из-за того, что это была программа на английском, и из-за того, что мне нравился curriculum так, как он выглядел, то есть список предметов, я решила, что это идеальный выбор с учетом комбинации вот этих вот факторов.
Спасибо большое, Anna. We have a question about your accommodation as well, Anna. So your experience and maybe experience of your colleagues, what do you think? How much money you need to live in Milan and to rent accommodation?
Okay, a lot of my friends rent a flat with somebody. For example, it's a 2 rooms apartment, like 2 bedrooms and like a common room, and they pay, I think, more or less 600, 700 like per room if they live together. If you want to live alone, like I would say that it's realistically you can find apartment from 1,000 euros. 1,000 euros. Less, it's difficult.
Thank you so much.
If I may add a comment to that, well, I can definitely agree. I mean, I live super close to Milan and I've been working in Milan, so the prices are, yeah, I would have to say quite like that. However, consider another option. You could opt for private dorms as well, which are typically more affordable. As Anna said, you can consider sharing. And obviously, it really depends on the area where you would want to live. And I say this all the time to students. I know that the Gemelli campus, specifically in Milan, is an amazing place, super fancy, quite nice and everything. But it's completely unaffordable if you consider this area for a living. And frankly speaking, I would not suggest living near the campus just for the sake of being near the campus. There is an excellent network of local transport. You have private dorms, which you could reach in like less than 15 minutes if you use the underground. Obviously, again, timing is quite important. I would not suggest to anyone to wait, I don't know, until July or August to start looking around for an accommodation. And not
And
only in Milan,
also,
you know.
yeah. And also about August, take into account that in August, nobody works. And I had the experience like in Russia, for example, real estate agency, they work 24/7. Like whenever you need to look for you to like see the apartment, you're welcome. In Italy, in August, it's really difficult to go to see the apartments. And we had this mistake, and we were looking for apartment in August, and it was difficult. Starting from September, it was like a couple of visits per day, but before that, it was difficult to schedule these meetings with to see the apartments. So take this into account.
Thank you so much. Very important information. Next question, Other, is to you. Do you think it's worth trying to apply to program in management with a background and bachelor degree in international relations?
Well, that's quite of a nice question to be honest, pretty understandable as a question, but we need to see the subjects that you have attended during your bachelor degrees, because international relations, as a matter of fact, is quite of a broad subject area. So political science, as a matter of fact, is quite broad. So I don't know if you have studied any management, if you have studied anything related to management, you would have enough credits to study a management related program in Cattolica. Like, go ahead and call Studiare in Italia so you can check the transcripts together and you can compare what you have studied to what our programs offer. I cannot say yes or no just like that.
Thank you so much. And I will ask my colleague Diana to also to say in Russian, again, to repeat this important thing about the background, that it needs to be close to the master degree. Диана, может быть, еще расскажем вкратце вот важное требование к предыдущему образованию.
Да, как Адор уже упомянул, очень важно, чтобы магистратура, если это двухгодичная магистратура, была продолжением бакалавриата. То есть, например, если вы на бакалавриате изучаете менеджмент, то и на магистратуре вы можете выбрать какую-нибудь специализацию менеджмента, или в Католике есть программа чисто по менеджменту. Например, после лингвистики на экономику поступить нельзя. потому что там по кредитам не совпадает программа. И когда вы выбираете программу магистратуры, то нужно плюс-минус смотреть, какие предметы у вас были и какие будут. То есть вот, Даниил, я думаю, что завтра утром мы с вами свяжемся, и можно будет обсудить, посмотреть, какая у вас программа, и оценить примерно шанс.
Спасибо, Диана. Да, в отличие от России и Казахстана, где действительно возможно полностью поменять специальность, в Италии это невозможно. И вот я вижу вопрос Дарьи, которая также хотела бы после лингвистики на бизнес. И у Анны нет, у Анны другой, у нее была международная экономика, и она поступила на программу по менеджменту, поэтому это близкие специальности. Лингвистика – это совершенно другой первый учебный план. Также, Дарья, будем рады вас индивидуально проконсультировать. И я хотела бы со своей стороны сказать, что те, кто хочет поменять специальность, вы можете рассмотреть одногодичные программы. Вот они как раз имеют возможность, чтобы студенты поступали с немного отличающимся образованием, и там с этим не так строго. Обратите на них внимание. Ador, am I right that for those who would like to change a bit profession, they can have a look on the one-year masters? They have more
Absolutely.
chances.
Absolutely. And actually, I was reading one of the question, a student that would want to switch from linguistics to business, if I'm not mistaken. Definitely, yes. Since the presentation was rather focused on the Masters of Science, I did not take quite time on the one-year masters because we're going to have another webinar dedicated to one-year masters. But for those students, which is pretty normal and quite common nowadays, that want to switch careers, we definitely suggest the one-year masters. Like if you feel that you have no comparable credits, no comparable background, I would rather pick the one-year master than risking the two-year master.
Thank you so much. So next question we have. Next question is actually to Anna about the possibilities to work in university. Do you have such experience? And maybe you know some of your friends that also work in university.
Well, the university, you mean?
Что они подрабатывают также в университете, выполняют какую-то функцию в Cattolica, зарабатывают какие-то небольшие, может быть, деньги, то есть какую-то выполняют функцию в университете, какую-то part-time работу.
I've seen some students doing some kind of projects for the university, but I'm not sure whether it's paid or not paid. I don't know about this.
Ador, maybe you can.
Yes, if I may. Well, let's start with the legal obligations first of all. As non-European students, keep in mind that you would have a 20 hours per week working limit. Setting that aside, the university itself promotes several projects for students who are willing to do some sort of part-time activities. It could be the 200-hour collaboration or the student work from Educat. Educat is basically an NGO working on behalf of Università Cattolica, dealing with financial assistance, accommodation assistance, and also part-time occupation. I've gone through the student work from Educat myself a few years ago, and basically Educat would help students insert themselves into specific university departments where the university would need some help. It could be the international area, I mean, which I did myself some years ago. It could be the library, it could be the food court. These projects are absolutely paid. So if you were to go through the 200 collaborations, or if you were to go through the student work from Educat, you would also be paid. This sort of salary by Italian law is not taxed either.
Thank you so much. Next question. Programs are available both in English and in Italian. Have plenty of programs in English and even more in Italian. Good question is about the scholarship. So, Ador, maybe you tell us how it is possible to receive the fixed price for non-European students, and if you allow, we also share our experience that we have many successful local students obtain this fee?
No, I'm going to be super quick with this because I think, and I'm 100% sure that your expertise is way more important than, my explanation. So basically, if you were to apply for a 3-year bachelor degree or a 2-year Master of Science, you would start with the flat tuition fee, which is applicable to students living in a non-European country, which we said is around 9,000 euros for the Masters of Science. While you will fill the application form, let's say for the program, for Anna's program, as a matter of fact, you will notice a question within the application form. Do you want to be considered for the UCSC scholarship? Well, obviously you would want to be considered. This application will be evaluated, first of all, to determine whether you can be admitted, and second, whether you could be granted the 30% discount. Once you receive an admission offer, you will know right away whether you've been granted this scholarship as well. This scholarship, this is very important, is applicable to 3-year bachelor degrees and 2-year Masters of Science. 1-year specializing masters offer partial merit-based scholarships, but they follow, if I can say follow, a different scheme. The tuition fees are different, the percentages of the discount are also different. And now, obviously, Olga can go ahead and share all of her knowledge and
Thank you so
expertise.
much, Ador. Yeah, this message needs to be translated for sure. Да, я хотела бы многим подсказать, потому что действительно по поводу стоимости обучения многие задают вопрос. И мы хотим вас обрадовать тем, что стипендия, которая предоставляется для студентов из не Евросоюза, она практически гарантированная. То есть для того, чтобы получить ее, достаточно подать заявку на программу, соответствовать требованиям. В аппликационной форме будет вопрос о том, хотите вы получить стипендию или нет. Конечно, большинство студентов указывают, что да, они хотят ее получить. И если студент зачисляется на программу, то ему предоставляется эта стипендия. То есть по большому счету для всех студентов из России и Казахстана и других стран, не входящих в Европейский Союз, эта стипендия предоставляется на основе корректного пакета документов и в случае, если студента зачисляют на программу. Это касается программ бакалавриата, то есть для студентов из Евросоюза действует стоимость 5600 евро, для магистратуры это стоимость 6400 евро, а для одногодичных программ есть отдельные цены, и там такая стипендия не работает, там немножечко другая система. Стоимость одногодичных программ составляет в среднем от 7 до 12 тысяч евро в год, и на каждую из этих программ есть несколько стипендий, а скорее это скидка на обучение в размере от 25 до 50%, как правило. Так, next questions. Other questions about the hostels, hostel which is provided by university. Do you have some options to live on campus?
Look, I'll be super straightforward with this because it's always good to have a fair expectation management for everyone. There are very few, and it is super limited in terms of accommodation options when it comes to our own options in Milan. Like you could go through Educat, you could apply, always worth giving it a shot, clearly. But please also make sure that you have a plan B. Please make sure that you contact the housing providers or agencies that we have listed in our website at a due time. Okay, go through Educat, apply for our own dorms. Those are extremely limited. But please, and I cannot stress this enough, make sure to always have a plan B.
Thank you, Ador. Я повторю на русском, что общежития университета есть, места в них очень ограниченные, представляются в основном тем, кто получает стипендию по доходу. Пробуйте и бронируйте. У нас есть студенты, которые успевают получить там комнату, но многие предпочитают жить в квартире, на самом деле по цене и по удобству, снимать вместе с кем-то квартиру и жить в одноместной комнате, допустим, в двухкомнатной квартире. Это вполне приемлемо по цене и более распространено. Next question is about bachelor programs. Again, I will repeat that we will have a separate presentation end of January, and we will invite you for this presentation where we will say some specific details about bachelor programs. Но также, если вы не хотите дожидаться презентации, хотите уже подать заявку, вы можете связаться с консультантами Студиара Натальи, которые вам подскажут про поступление на программу бакалавриата. Можете прямо завтра написать Диане, Владимиру, Дияре, и они вам подскажут и ответят на все ваши вопросы по бакалавриату. Anna, you said about some work experience. There is a question, if that was an advantage to be enrolled to a master degree program to Cattolica, having a work experience. It's a question both to Adar and to Anna.
Just to be clear, I don't know what was like the important factor and what was not the important factor. I don't think that work experience is a must. Like I believe that with a sufficient academic background, you can apply and get accepted without any problems. So it's not like you have to have some work experience before a master degree. I think it might be a plus for sure, especially if you have some achievements at work. And if it's relevant, especially for the field of study you're applying, of course, it's like, I think that it should be extra points, but you never know for sure what will be like the deciding point.
If I may add a few comments. Look, what really makes a difference is your motivation. Like, consider the fact that obviously Università Cattolica has a team of very dedicated admissions officer, which are our credential evaluators that are going to evaluate your academic background, grades, transcripts, and everything. However, consider the fact that your application also goes through the faculty. And that is where your motivation would make a huge impact. Anna mentioned the motivation earlier. We're going to ask all of you to prepare a motivation letter. The motivation, obviously, I'm not saying that the motivation matters and nothing else is of importance. Obviously, it's a combination of your credits, your linguistic proficiency, motivation, and academic reference letter. However, keep in mind one other very important detail, because I was going through the questions myself. Working experience is not considered to be a compensation when you lack in terms of academic background. Like, I perfectly get it that you might fully understand the curriculum in any program of ours, even though you might have studied something different and have tons of working experience. However, and regrettably, if I may add, working experience cannot substitute lack of academic background.
Thank you so much. Я вкратце повторю на русском, что для поступления на программы магистратуры двухгодичной нет требования по опыту работы, и большинство студентов поступает сразу после окончания российского вуза. Главное, чтобы соответствовало ваше первое образование, и очень важный момент, на который мы обращаем внимание, это мотивационное письмо, которое должно четко отражать ваши цели, оно действительно влияет, ваше мотивационное письмо и первое образование. Next question, Ador, is about the program linguistic computing. Can you say some words about this program?
Oh, well, I think that the question was related to linguistic computing because the student here was also talking about the academic background, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, my bachelor is 2 foreign languages, so I do not have any knowledge in computer science.
Well, look, honestly, even if you were to go through the website, so I'm not making it up, it's like an official answer from Università Cattolica. This program is quite interdisciplinary. So it's very difficult even for us, to set super strict and super specific. I mean, we do set strict requirements, but not super specific entry requirements when it comes to linguistic computing. Like, ideal candidates could have a bachelor, I don't know, in linguistics, literature, foreign languages, communication, human sciences, media studies, philosophy, even statistics, economics, or even management, as a matter of fact, So the student mentions that they have a bachelor in foreign languages, I suppose, with no knowledge in computer sciences. So linguistics and foreign languages, as I said, are among the categories that we do consider ideal.
Thank you. И опять же напоминаю вам, что вы можете обратиться к нам в студию Италии, мы вам подскажем, посмотрим ваш учебный план и посмотрим, подходит ли это на эту программу. Again, we have a question about the bachelor program. Maybe we can just quickly answer if it's possible to change specialization within the bachelor program, or if you apply to one program, you cannot change, you cannot transfer to another.
Look, the very same logic, would be applicable to applying for a Master of Science. Like if you are, let's say, I am attending a bachelor degree in communication management. Let's just make, an example. I would stand no chance if I were to apply for a transfer to economics or finance because those backgrounds are like 100% different. So I would not satisfy any sort of entry requirements. If you are willing, I don't know, to transfer from finance to business and finance, then probably you would stand a chance. But again, you would need to apply, go through an evaluation process. The university, any university, as a matter of fact, would have to check your grades, your transcripts, what you have studied, what you are still going to study, and the compatibility between curriculums.
Thank you, Ador. Сергей, я бы хотела вот повторить, сказать, что на бакалавриате менять специализацию трудно, потому что если вы выбираете одну программу, ее учебный план очень сильно отличается от программы, от другой программы бакалавриата, поэтому в любом случае процесс будет идти через заново поступление на новый курс и, возможно, перезачет каких-то дисциплин. Но поскольку в Италии обучение на бакалавриате — это 3 года узкопрофильного обучения по одной специальности, то очень редко, когда успешно получается вот как-то там менять специализацию. Опять же, можете обратиться к нашим консультантам, и мы подскажем вам и, может, поможем сразу выбрать какую-то наиболее подходящую программу. Снова вопрос по бакалавриату. Мы не сможем тратить много времени, тем более, что уже достаточно долго идет презентация. Вы теоретически имеете право подавать на программу, даже имея опыт работы. Другой вопрос, что могут быть сложности с визой и так далее. С вашего позволения на ваш вопрос по бакалавриату мы сможем ответить либо индивидуально, если вы с нами свяжетесь, либо дождитесь, пожалуйста, нашей презентации по бакалавриату в январе. То же самое касается крайних сроков по бакалавриату. Ну, может быть, моя коллега Диана скажет прям буквально одно слово, началась ли подача и до какого числа она пройдет.
Да, подача уже началась в начале ноября и закончится единая волна в этом году в конце февраля. Но откладывать на февраль не надо. Лучше, чем быстрее, тем лучше. А мы вам поможем с подготовкой документов.
Спасибо. Прежде чем я вот задам последний вопрос, я бы хотела тоже важный момент проговорить тем, кто еще нас слушает. Важно понимать, что вы можете подавать заявки на программу магистратуры, еще находясь на последнем курсе обучения в университете в России или в Казахстане. Не нужно ждать, когда вы закончите полностью образование. Подача на магистратуру уже началась и идет.
16 декабря начнется.
Да, скоро начнется. Прошу прощения, скоро начнется. Ador, maybe we can show a slide with a timeline for the Master of Science application. I guess
Sure
it
thing.
starts,
Sure thing. Sure thing. Let me share my presentation once again. Bear with me for just a
Пока мы
second.
ждем слайд, я бы хотела сказать, что для подачи на магистратуру вам нужно показать выписку оценок за пройденные годы обучения, мотивационное письмо, ваше резюме, заполнить аппликационную форму. Со всей процедурой поступления вам поможет консультант студия Италия. Также мы предоставим вам специальный промокод, который освобождает от взноса при подаче. И, насколько я помню, сейчас Диана меня, может быть, поправит, языковой сертификат можно предоставить позже. Не
Нет.
обязательно.
В этом году нужно сразу.
Тоже сразу, да? Сейчас
И
мы
на
уточним
бакалавриат,
у Адора, но точно можем вам сказать, что если вы поступаете на одногодичный мастер, то вы можете пройти даже интервью, и там языковой сертификат не обязательный. Ador, thank you very much for the slide. And we also have a question about the language certificate.
Sure.
Probably my information is a bit old. I thought that we can submit language certificate later by summer.
No, unfortunately, not for this year. It was like that up until last year. However, due to tough competition, if I'm allowed to call it tough competition, and programs becoming quite competitive, we would request our students to have the certificate uploaded at the moment of the submission.
And what are possibilities? IELTS, TOEFL,
So we would accept the academic IELTS, the TOEFL IBT, the Cambridge exam. We would accept the PTE from Pearson as well. Unfortunately, not the Duolingo. Masters, as I think you also mentioned in Russian a few seconds ago. See, I'm getting better with my Russian as well. Can also accept an online interview with a master committee as proof of linguistic proficiency, with the exception of the master in corporate communication, though.
Thank you so much. So we have the last question, and I think we need already to finish. And I think it's a thing that everybody is interested in. Is it possible to continue and to find a work after studies at Cattolica? How does it work for international students? And maybe you can share with us.
Sure. No, it's a super common question, actually. I've received it thousands of times. Look, the thing is, if you graduate in it, so basically let's start, from the beginning. You come to Italy to attend a study program with a study visa. Once you're in Italy, you would have to apply for a student permit of stay within the first 8 days that you're here. You would get the student permit of stay, which you'll have to renew each year. Once you graduate, once you complete your study program, let's say, you can convert that student permit of stay to a permit of stay which is called a waiting for occupation permit of stay. This permit of stay has a 1-year duration and, keep this in mind, cannot be renewed. So during this 1 year, you would have the chance to find a job. And if you manage to do so, you can convert your waiting for occupation permit of stay to a working permit of stay.
Thank you so much. I will also say it in Russian, and I guess you are also a proof that it's
Yes.
possible to
Oh,
stay
yes,
and work
definitely.
in Italy.
Yeah, it really is.
Да, для многим, конечно, интересно какое-то время поработать в Италии. Как это работает? Действительно, студенты получают сначала учебную визу, мы с этим помогаем и готовим правильный пакет документов. Виза дается многократная на год. Хочу сказать, что виза выдается хорошо и в России, и в Казахстане, может быть, чуть дольше, но тем не менее нет никаких проблем с получением учебной визы в Италию. Далее, приехав в Италию, вы обязаны подать на вид на жительство в первые 8 дней пребывания. Вид на жительство выдается вам также на первый год и продлевается по мере обучения. То есть на второй год магистратуры вы продлеваете, не выезжая из Италии, этот учебный вид на жительство. И ближе к окончанию программы вы продлеваете ваш учебный вид на жительство на ВНЖ, который называется «В поиске работы». Он дается на год. В течение этого срока вы можете искать работу, и если вы ее находите, то также на месте продлеваете этот вид на жительство в поиске работы на рабочий. И важный момент сказала то, что вот этот год он не продлевается, но действительно многим студентам удается получить какие-то контракты и какое-то время остаться и поработать в Италии. We have one more question about the Italian language certificates.
Sure. As long as the minimum score is a B2, like the score is the same for Italian and English taught programs, then we can accept the CILS. I'm going to write it down so you can also, memorize it, because CILS and PLIDA, all these acronyms maybe mean nothing to you. But it's the CILS, the PLIDA, or the CELI 3.
Is it possible to take any internal Cattolic Italian tests, maybe?
No,
No.
unfortunately not. Not anymore. Unfortunately.
Okay, thank you so much, Ador. Thank you, Anna, for your time. Спасибо всем участникам, которые сегодня присоединились. Is it possible to provide a university diploma with the subject of Italian in it?
Only if all of your subjects were taught in Italian, you could be exempted from the linguistic requirement. This logic applies to English taught programs as well. I'm sorry, Olga, for interrupting you, though. But
no, thanks for answering.
if you have attended an institution where the medium of instruction was English, where English was officially the medium of instruction, or Italian was officially the medium of instruction, then you would be exempted from the linguistic requirement.
Thank you. Спасибо всем, что были с нами до конца. Студия Наталья остается в вашем распоряжении. Начиная с завтрашнего дня мы готовы отвечать на ваши вопросы в WhatsApp, в по почте, вы можете прийти в наш офис в Москве, он находится возле метро Новокузнецкая. Мы рады вам помогать. Напоминаю, что наши услуги бесплатны. Мы поможем вам как выбрать программу, так и пройти процедуру зачисления, легализовать документы, получить визу и ответить на все ваши вопросы. Мы всегда также остаемся на связи с университетом и какие-то моменты всегда можем вместе с вами прояснить. Надеемся, что многие из вас рассматривают поступление в Университет Католика в этом году. Желаем вам удачи, советуем поторопиться, потому что уже открывается первая волна, и советуем вам быть в числе первых, кто подает документы. Мои коллеги будут рады с вами общаться. And I would like to thank once again Adar and Anna for participation. Maybe some final words from you, and we need to quit already.
Well, I mean, thank you as per usual for having me. You know, it's a real pleasure to be here, and I always enjoy everything that you organize, be it a fair, a webinar, an informal meeting. And well, from my side, we're always here to help. We're always here to assist. So for any sort, really, I know it's a cliche, but really, for any sort of question or doubts that you might have, just drop an email, grab your phone, and make a call. We're here for that.
Thank you so much. Anna, thank you once again.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a good evening to everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.